everyone, welcome. Today's video is going to be about this retractable landing gear kit I got. I came up with a daughter board, this guy here, that only costs a couple of bucks. The only difference between this board and that board is this one here has the BMP 180, where this one actually has a better barometer on it, the MS5611. And besides that, the only way you can set up on my daughter board is through a terminal, where this one has buttons, and the buttons can be a little bit confusing, so I'm going to show you guys this guy here. A guy on my YouTube channel ordered this and got a little bit confused with it, I guess, so I thought I would just order it and test it out. I'm really not going to use it, but thought I would get one anyways. I'm going to try adding these things here because it's for a DJI. I'm going to try adding it to my cx20. Alright, so here's the parts here. The two servo motors. I added an end to it here for testing it, and some screws and some vague instructions on how to install it, but it doesn't tell you nothing about the daughter board. Alright, so I'll show you guys how to wire them up now. So you can do both of them at the same time, but because these little servos love to make noise, it's actually better just to do one at a time, and I'll show you the steps for that. And I can show you both of them together, it doesn't really matter. So the way they get plugged in is the switch is in the middle on both, like that. So that's servo 1, servo 2. So we'll just work with this guy here. So the tricky part here is plugging this in. That's why I added an end to it like this for now. For you, it'd just be directly soldered or on the bottom of the cx20 or whatever. So when you plug in the battery, you actually have to hold down one of the buttons and plug it in at the same time. So it can be a little tricky. And then we're going to be working with servo 1. Alright, so it can be a little bit tricky. So just plug in the battery, or actually hold this button down first, or any of the 4 buttons. Hold it down and somehow plug in the battery. These lights will be blinking, then push any button. Unplugged. So I gotta try it again. So hold that guy down. Now push one of the buttons. So now it should be working. So to edit this side, we're working on this side, which is kind of backwards. So that tests it, but every time you're testing it back and forth, keep in mind you're actually decreasing or increasing the PWMs. So the servo will start humming at you, and I'll show you that right now. So here's it at a closed position almost, but say if we push this button up, it's going to start humming. So what you have to do to stop that now is keep pushing the up until it goes right back to 0 again. And what will happen is it'll jump back to the top like that. So now just push it kind of slowly until it's pretty close to the bottom. Ideally you don't want it humming, but these motors are so cheap anyways that you're always going to get a humming anyways, I think. So let's say if I lightly push this down, you're always going to get that anyways. But just try to get it pretty close here. Okay, that's good enough. Now the up, so how far you want your legs to come out type thing. So we want it about at the, who knows, you actually have to put it on the quad to find out. So I'm just going to cycle through all of it till it resets. So that should be actually good like that at the default, the very first one. So that's how you do that guy. So now you got that one over with. You can plug in this side. Oops, just be careful. And unplug this one. This way you won't get the noise from that one, just in case. Alright. It's humming again, so now I have to go through it all. So right now I'm pushing that button lots until it goes straight through all of it. There you go. Good. Then up. Go through all of it again. Again, ideally you want to do this actually on the quadcopter so you can get your legs exactly perfect, but I'm just showing you guys out of the quad so it's a little bit easier, hopefully. So it's like that. So now with both of them together, again, you don't want to be pushing these buttons for no reason though, because you are actually setting settings. So yeah, so if I push this down, actually, yeah, by me showing you that, I just reset it, so now I have to go through the whole thing again. So that's why I said it's good not to actually test it with this. So I'll just get this guy one more time down to 0, or not 0. I have no idea why they screwed up the code like that to make it go farther than it actually can. Kind of silly. Okay, that's good. Alright, so I'm done. So to save it now, just unplug it. Alright, so I'll quickly show you the turret. So again, you have to hold it in a way where you can push this power button. Have them blinking. Okay, so plug this guy in here. Alright, so now it's going up, down. So it seems like everything's working fine, but the way you might get it is it won't do nothing at all. And I'll just show you an example of that really quickly. So if I push this button a bunch of times, pushing this guy up. So it's going to take a couple of seconds to test it. Every time I'm just pushing it 5 more times. Okay, so right now it's not doing nothing when I'm pushing that button. So it seems like it's dead, it's not working right. So now if you push this one, nothing happens. You push this one, nothing happens. So what you just have to do is keep pushing it until it finally goes down again. Once it goes down, just push it like one more time. So I'm just going to keep pushing it pretty quickly. Okay, there you go. So it's working. Push this guy up. It's good. Down. Good. So once it's working like that, just stop. Just unplug it and everything should be okay. So one more thing I'll add quickly is how to set the altitude. It doesn't really say that anywhere how to set it. It just basically says this board is just set to a certain height or whatever. The buttons on the left and the buttons on the right. The top left button will set the altitude height for the legs to extend out, and on the right side, if you hold the button, it will retract. So what you want to do is walk up some stairs about 10 feet or so, hold this button down, a red light will blink and it'll go back to solid blue and your legs should extend out. Walk down a couple of stairs, or whichever height you want the legs to retract, preferably not too close to the ground because your gimbal might get hit. So I would suggest just walking about 3 stairs down and then just hold this button down like this. This light will blink and then it's set, and then the legs will retract. When you're out on the field, I suggest not playing with these buttons just in case you screw something up. Otherwise you're going to have to go climb a tree or something. Alright, I'll continue on. Alright, the next part of my video is just going to be trying to hook these guys up to a cx20 the way I'm going to mod it on it. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of wing it here. I haven't done this 100% yet, so hopefully it works out the way I picture it is. I'm going to just undo these guys. And with the cable here, I'm just going to unsolder this guy now, and I'm going to plug in one of these servo type ends onto it, and I'm just going to plug it right into the 12 volts right on the bottom. So I might just jump back into the video with that cable already on it, which I'll probably do. Be on this side here. Okay, so I'm going to try putting it there like that. And I'm just going to use one of these guys to screw it on. So it's gonna hit this thing, but we'll have to tweak it in the firmware to make sure it stops there. Okay. So this guy has a compass end, I guess, for the DJI, which I don't have, so I'm just gonna remove that guy. So you can undo that with a screw. I'm gonna put this guy on the side. Okay, found that other one. You want these pretty straight as possible. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue these guys just so they can't move around too much. Alright, when the hot glue's getting ready, I may as well start with the legs part of it. I got hot glue on everything. Okay, so the screws that came with it are too short, so what I'm going to try doing is I'm going to use these screws here that were actually meant for the blade protectors. I got 8 of those, so I should be able to just use 4 of those guys. Besides that, I'm not sure what the actual name of these screws are. But with these guys here, they actually fit these nuts. Oh, I don't know if this would have been better to do it out of the quad. So, still doesn't fit all the way through. No, they still don't fit. Alright, so that didn't work, so now I'm going to try something else instead. I'm going to use these screws here and there instead. Give that a try. Okay, nice, I got the right screwdriver. Okay. So I have a feeling I'm gonna have to use these, maybe this way instead. Like that. Just barely. I don't know if that would actually be safe or not. Well, help if I had the right leg on it. I don't know, you might want to put the nuts on the other side. Actually, I'm going to check that out. There actually might be a place for, on these guys, here, where the nut can actually go into. That would probably make the most sense. So I'll just leave this in a video, because what the hell. Try this again. Maybe try it the right way. So this nut should fit in there. Yeah. That makes more sense. Okay. I just don't know if the nut's going to be too far up, but I guess it doesn't really matter. It'll just push the servo up a bit more, but it already was my other way anyways. Actually, that works really good that way. Okay. Okay, good. Coming out a bit there, but I think it's going to hit the top of the screw. So we'll just have to edit it just for a little bit for that play. You could always cut that screw too if you really wanted to. Let me try the other side. Undo my mess up. I'm not even sure if you really need the hot glue. These might actually keep each other in check. But it definitely wouldn't hurt putting some glue right here probably, and here. Whoops, get back in the camera here. Probably wouldn't hurt putting glue right there and right here, just to stop these from going back and forth, but oh yeah, it does. So you want to keep those pretty straight. So yeah, where I already had some hot glue, probably be a good idea to put some more there. Alright, so I'm just going to put some hot glue. Okay, so let that dry for a minute. So I already went and attached two of these ends to it here. And what I'm going to be after here are these two pins here, or there are 4 pins here. So it goes ground 12 volts, ground 12 volts. And ideally too, if you're going to keep these legs all the time, I would just solder it right to the 12 volts right in the cx20 itself. There's two big pads there. I would just solder directly on those, because this can be kind of messy. Plus you're still going to have your gimbal here as well. So, right. So I'm just going to leave it all loose like this for now until I get outside and try it out. Plus we still have to set the settings, so it's probably better right now just to keep one in it right now, because we have to tweak it now because of this little screw here. It's going to be hitting, so we're probably going to have to edit it just a little bit, otherwise this motor is going to hum a lot. So this is going to be kind of a pain in the butt now. See if there's an easier way of doing this. The hard part is, like I said, trying to push that button down at the same time. So, what's this guy here? There you go. Okay, so that's probably a good angle right there anyways, right off the start. So I'm just going to leave it like that. It's this guy. So you're going to have to cycle through it all. Just keep pushing the down button until it falls back over here somewhere. There you go. Okay. These motors just suck. They always hum. If there's any stress on them. There, and I want to kind of watch in there. Did I unplug it by accident? Yeah, I unplugged it by accident. I'll try that again. This thing just sucks, doesn't it? Oh, geez, friggin' buttons here. Right, this probably is not the best cable I came up with here. Keeps wanting to jump out. But that's actually handy because, yeah, they just suck. Oh, that's better. Okay, so now it actually would be a little bit easier because I'm just going to plug in the battery. Then now I can hold one of these buttons and plug it in. There you go. That was a lot easier. Okay, it's good now. But now if I push it again, I'm probably going to mess it up. Yeah, now it's humming again. So now I have to cycle through it all. I'm going to try getting it right. It's going to be pretty hard to get it not to, because once it's actually sitting on the ground or something, it's going to push the motor anyways to hum. So maybe it's better to actually see if I can try it that way. It's not humming that way. So yeah, it might be easier to set it that way. To kind of lift it up, push it once and see if it stops humming, and put it back down. So it should be good like that. I believe if you play with the way it retracts too much or extends or whatever, you have to be careful because of I just did it, didn't I? Mother. It's gonna go too far down. It's gonna hit against this frame, so you might actually have to take it apart if you end up going too far. So try to get it pretty much the way you want it before you even attach it to the quad. So there's lots of tweaking in this guy, I guess. Alright, this guy now. So I'm just going to unplug this guy here. Plug this guy in so I don't hear the noise from the other side. So this one's way too far down. So what might actually happen is it might actually hit this. I hope it doesn't. Yeah, you gotta be careful because this might actually snap off. But try not to go too far with the retracting part of it. Okay. Yeah, it's good. So try both of them together now. Actually, I won't. What I'll do is unplug it. Like that. Then plug it in. Probably gonna hit my hand. Okay. Well, that didn't work too good. Right, I'm not sure if I'm going to splice this into the beginning of the video, but a little screw up I did by accident and drove me crazy. I thought I had to try resetting the things and everything like this, but this is what would happen to me. I plug in the power, and that happens. So it's obviously on the ground and it should be the other way around. It was working before, so I tried all the different combinations, tried a whole bunch of stuff for quite a while. And it's actually a really easy fix. Just simply unplug this guy, unplug this guy, flip it around, plug it in there, and then same with this guy. Plug this guy in this side. So the reason why they do this, I guess, is then now, well, it's a screw up with the servos technically because they're upside down kind of, but now you can use the other landing gear. So if you have the ones that work in reverse, like these ones or whatever, that work backwards with the PWMs, just simply reverse these two things around and you should be good to go on both styles of servos. Alright. Okay, I'm going to try just flying it quickly in the house here. Hopefully I don't crash into my TVs. I tried it outside. It's +2, like I think 37 Fahrenheit or something like that. For some reason it just wouldn't work outside. So hopefully it works better in here. Hopefully I don't crash into anything though. Okay, that's all I'm going to do with it because I'm too nervous about crashing into my TVs or something. Alright guys, thanks for watching like usual. Hopefully this was helpful. Still making a lot of noise. Looks pretty cool like that. See if I can get it to come back down again. What the hell is going on here?